It looks like Ilia Topuria is going to be the main event at UFC 317 International Fight Week, and what amazing news that is. Multiple journalists are reporting it. Ilia put out on his Twitter that his camp has begun. Obviously the fight's 8 weeks away now. I think it's about 8 weeks, and it's amazing news, absolute amazing news. Everyone was in like panic mode, including myself, about the main event for International Fight Week. I thought it was going to end up being like Pantoja vs Cara France, with Chimaev vs Bahalio as a interim champ for middleweight, which it's not awful, but like International Fight Week, that's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest card of the year. And I don't know, I needed a massive fight. And Ilia Topuria being the main event, no matter who he fights, either Charles Oliveira or Islam Makhachev, no one's sure who it is yet. Either way, it's going to be amazing. International Fight Week, it was looking like it was going to be, obviously, like I just said, Pantoja, Cara France as the main event, or Chimaev versus Bahalio, because obviously Duplessis looks like he's injured for a long time too. Reports coming out that he's 6 months, which obviously, like, if a champion's injured for 6 months, then they need, say, 2 months training camp to then fight. That's 8 months out. I'm fine with an interim champ there with that. Obviously, Aspinall, John Jones, that's the dream for everyone, but looks like that's obviously not going to happen. Chael Sonnen coming out saying that he reckons that's signed, but I don't know, I doubt it is, and I doubt it, especially for International Fight Week. But Ilia Topuria coming out saying that his fight camp's begun. It makes sense that it's International Fight Week, and everyone's saying, now, who is his opponent going to be? Obviously, Islam Makhachev. I personally, I want to see Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. I want to see probably the two best fighters in the whole of the UFC fight each other. In any weight class, I'd say they're the two best fighters. Ilia Topuria just knocked out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, back to back. Islam Makhachev's on a crazy long unbeaten run. So many title defences. Me personally, I think he's the lightweight GOAT. I think he has overtook Khabib. And it's going to be an amazing fight. If it's Charles Oliveira, I still think it'll be for the vacant lightweight championship, because I think obviously Islam Makhachev will then move up to welterweight, and that'll be an amazing fight too. I'd love to see Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, not only because both of their striking is amazing, but both of them are such good grapplers. We'll break down each fight in a minute, but before we even think that, obviously the big fight coming up is Jack Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad, because not only does it count for who's going to be the welterweight champion, it counts for if Islam Makhachev is going to move up. And it's weird because Islam Makhachev, Khabib, I feel like it's more Khabib doesn't want Islam to fight Belal. I don't actually think. I think if Khabib weren't there, I have an idea that Islam might just move up and fight. But it seems really strong that it's coming from Khabib not wanting to fight, which is amazing. I love the idea of team loyalty and stuff like that. But if that is the case, Islam cannot move up. Or I've seen Belal say that he'll just relinquish the belt and move up to middleweight, which is wild. But fair play to Belal if he's that loyal, but I feel that's a little bit silly, especially when you've worked so hard to get to the belt, then you're just going to relinquish it. So an old teammate could maybe win it, but who knows. I do think Belal's going to destroy JDM though. I do. I think JDM, obviously, he has got amazing boxing, but he's got alright wrestling as well. He's quite good at wrestling, and Belal's just different level though. When I watched that Leon fight, I was convinced Leon was going to win, and I was so wrong. I couldn't believe it. Belal looked good with his hands, pressing forward constantly. His wrestling was so good, and I can see Belal beating JDM. Don't be wrong though, if that happens, can I see Belal relinquishing the title? I can't. I can see then Islam will then fight Topuria. As much as they're coming out saying they don't want it, I feel like the UFC will kind of force them to do it. It's the biggest fight everyone wants to see. It's the biggest fight the UFC can make right now. that they can feasibly make. Obviously, there will be bigger fights where, I don't know, like Conor McGregor versus Paddy Pimblett, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so Charles Oliveira, that'd be a great idea for him to fight for the vacant belt. I think it should be him. Don't be wrong, out of all of them, out of every single fighter, I think Arman Tsarukyan's the most deserving. Obviously just beat Charles Oliveira, but the UFC want to make an example out of him, so they're obviously not going to do Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. I think he'll then be the next contender, or he'll have to fight Justin Gaethje, which I think makes sense, and if they do that on the same card, it makes even more sense. So when we look at like each individual fight, Islam Makhachev versus Topuria, I think for Topuria this is obviously so much harder than against Oliveira. Oliveira's still amazing, but Islam Makhachev is pound for pound number one. He's one of the best, if not the best fighter in the UFC, and he's got everything now. With Khabib, he was more of like the most talented grappler in the world, but his striking wasn't as good, where Islam Makhachev's got the striking. And Islam Makhachev is massive, absolutely massive. If he goes to welterweight, I don't think he'll look out of place, where when Ilia Topuria is fighting Makhachev, will he look tiny? And me personally, Ilia Topuria is my favourite fighter. He's who I enjoy watching the most. He is the best fighter, I think, in the world, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think he beats Islam Makhachev. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think it'll be as confident as he's making out. He's going to ask Islam what his favourite sub is, he's going to pick him up, take him to Khabib and sub him with that. I don't think that'll happen, but I can see him finishing Makhachev. Makhachev does get caught a little bit on the feet. Obviously in the first Volk fight he got caught a little bit, but Topuria's got this crazy power, and don't get me wrong, so does Makhachev. I can see either one of them winning, but I am swaying towards Topuria, and it's just because I can't write him off. I cannot write him off. Beating Alex Volkanovski the way he did, beating Max Holloway the way he did, so good, and I'm so excited to watch that fight. I really hope that fight happens. The grappling exchanges will be insane, and I love watching high level grappling in MMA. I much prefer watching high level grappling in MMA than I do to watch, say, Gordon Ryan fight. I much prefer watching it in an MMA scenario. So if it's Charles Oliveira, don't be wrong, we'll get probably as good, even if not better, grappling situations, which would be amazing to watch. But Charles Oliveira gets tagged a lot, so I can see Ilia Topuria knocking Charles Oliveira out. But Charles Oliveira is really tall, keeps his range really well, so will Ilia even be able to close that distance? Obviously, if it goes to the ground, Charles Oliveira is one of, if not the best grappler in the UFC, and if Ilia was able to sub Charles Oliveira, that'd be insane, absolutely insane. Either way, I'm so excited for this fight, whoever it is, and I think it'll be amazing. I think right now, I think it is going to be Islam Makhachev, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Charles Oliveira. Either way, it'll be absolutely amazing. Other fights you can get on that card, obviously Justin Gaethje versus Arman Tsarukyan, perfect. And then whoever wins that fights the winner of Islam Makhachev versus Topuria, or Charles Oliveira versus Topuria, or the winner can then fight Charles Oliveira if it's Islam. So let me know what you think. Do you think it'll be Charles Oliveira, or do you think it'll be Islam Makhachev? Let me know in the comments. I am so excited for this fight, and I hope either one of them happens. I'll see you later.